Welcome back to some cooking. This is quite exciting for me. I haven't been around for a while in the cooking scene, but inshallah we're going to be back in action. So let's get back in with a Egyptian kind of pasta. It's interesting to say that, but it is actually something called macaroni bechamel, which is popular in Egypt, and it's basically macaroni, which is like pasta with bechamel. It's got like a meat sauce. It's really easy, so let's get started. And of course we will start with a sunnah smile, because we'll need to chop our onions and then mince our garlic and saute it. After crying a few tears, ironically from a smiling onion, I've added a tablespoon of olive oil and put the heat on medium high. And I am so excited to use my smiling wooden spoon. You guys probably think I'm crazy. I really am, actually, so you're right. That's nice and hot. We're going to saute our onions to get them nice and soft. Once our onions are nice and steamy, we're going to add in our minced or chopped garlic. Literally sauteing this for 2 minutes, just get the garlic a little bit cooked. And now in goes our ground beef, and we'll cook that until it gains colour. I'm going to mince it down. It's well cooked now. Well, you can't see because it keeps steaming up. I'm going to now add my salt, my black pepper and my cinnamon. So salt. I'm only adding 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper and 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Lovely jubbly. This we're going to add 1 can of chopped tomato. And we're going to let it boil for around 10 minutes. We want to thicken it up. There we go. So let it bubble away. 10 minutes. While that's happening, it gives me enough time to make my pasta. So in goes my boiling water. I'm adding a teaspoon of salt to my water, giving it a good mix and leaving it to boil away for at least 7 minutes and then testing it. So back to my meat mixture, I'm going to add some freshly chopped parsley, and I'm adding a teaspoon of dried thyme. Give it a good mix. I'm going to taste it, adjust the seasoning. I'm going to add a little bit more salt. Obviously it's your preference. And then if you're happy with it, we're going to turn off the heat and let it set aside whilst I make the bechamel sauce. So to make the bechamel sauce, we're going to add 6 tablespoons of butter. Butter melts, we're going to add the same amount of flour, so that's 6 tablespoons of flour. And we're going to mix this really well to avoid lumps and to cook off that flour taste. So the butter and flour have had time. I've actually smelled them. So I'm now going to add my milk slowly whilst mixing. So I'll need 2 hands for that. Sorry, I haven't got 3. My pasta is also done, so I'm quickly going to drain that and set that aside. So after my first cup of milk, I added that slowly. Now I'm adding my second cup slowly. Just keep mixing to avoid lumps. So I've added 3 cups of milk. You can obviously add more or less depending on how you want your bechamel. I turn to a whisk so I can ensure there's no lumps, and it's starting to thicken up. I don't want this to become a full-on boil. I want to wait until it looks like it's about to boil. And I need to quickly add 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg and some salt and pepper, which I won't show you because I need to keep whisking. So how do you know your bechamel is done? Because you don't want it to boil and you don't want it to be too runny. How can you test it? Let's show you. You get yourself a wooden spoon or a spoon of some sort, and then you see if it can coat the back of a spoon. Let me show you. If you draw a line from the back and it keeps its shape, that means it's done. So let me switch this off and assemble our macaroni bechamel. So some people add an egg at this point. I don't know, I'm not feeling an egg, so I'm not going to. So in my serving dish, I've put the pasta. Now I'm going to add my meat and tomato mixture and mix it all together. I made extra pasta in case I need more, so I've reserved some. So I'll give this all a good mix, incorporate as much as you can. That's well incorporated. Now I'm going to add my bechamel sauce on top. Now on top of this you can add breadcrumbs. I've got these golden breadcrumbs. You don't have to, but I think it would be nice. So now that's done, we're going to add a few small knobs of butter across the dish, and then we're ready to put it in the oven. So I'm going to keep that in there for around 20-25 minutes. We'll check up on it and we'll see how it goes. So it's been around 20-25 minutes. Now I'm going to turn it into a grill or broil and get the top layer nice and fully browned, although it's done a good job right now. A few minutes later, you get yourself a super crispy and totally bubbly Egyptian macaroni bechamel. I'm going to leave this to cool for at least 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just to calm it down a bit and let it solidify, and then we can cut into it. So as you can see, there's not really much left, but that's what you're supposed to end up with, like a layer at the bottom, bechamel layer on top, and then the crispy breadcrumbs. It's a really easy and delicious meal you can serve quickly for the family, and I hope you try it and enjoy it, and the recipe will be up soon, inshallah. I have guest of the day, Anwar, who's messing around with my camera. Whoop! So Anwar, what do you think of the meal? Was it yes, no, maybe so? Up, down, side by side? I can say she's only 1 year and 5 months, so she couldn't technically answer that question. Anyway.